How to win at SaaS SEO. So in this episode, we're going to be diving into common mistakes and pitfalls when it comes to SaaS SEO and why it gets neglected so much of the time. We're going to talk about why you should consider SEO for your company. And we're going to go through a bit of a checklist from initial research, planning and strategy, right through to execution and things like building links, partnerships, and all that good stuff. But with that said, let's dive straight into it, and I'll fire up my screen right now. So first things first, SaaS SEO, B2B SEO in general, what are some of the common issues, common mistakes, common red flags I see? Well, so often B2B sites in general are thin on content, which doesn't help SEO at all. So they quite often have pages like home, about, maybe services or product, maybe testimonials, then a demo page or contact page, something like that. Super thin on content, which right from the start is going to make it difficult for your site to rank if you've only got a few pages. We'll get into that more in a sec. Secondly, quite often SEO folks or folks in general in the marketing team might go for super high volume keywords, i.e. keywords that have got hundreds or thousands of visits, traffic on Google each month, which isn't always the best strategy. And we'll get into defining what's called money keywords that are high intent that drive qualified demos in a second. Many businesses, this is more on the exec level, see SEO as a tick box exercise, i.e. they get their marketing lead, they realize that companies are constantly ahead of them on organic search and eventually get around to SEO. And then they'll say to their marketing manager or marketing leader, can you do some SEO this month? The marketing leaders probably already get 100 other jobs to do in the month. Everyone sees it as a tick box exercise. Maybe they do a bit of keyword research, find an article that might have a few searches per month, produce the article, forget about SEO, publish the article. Then a few months later, the exec team asks how SEO is going. The marketing lead say, yeah, I did some SEO. I published the blogs like you said, but hasn't actually driven any qualified leads, demos, or signups because there wasn't a thoughtful strategy behind it. Another issue is SEO is often seen as the bottom of the barrel exercise when it comes to marketing spend. So quite often B2B tech companies, SaaS companies especially, are guilty of assigning all the budget to ads, to events, to outbound partnerships, influencer marketing, and SEO often gets given the last bit of budget or resource. And it can be hard to get the exec team bought in, especially if you're under pressure from investors, therefore want to see super quick results. And quite often you can get impact from SEO with the right strategy within 90 days, but sometimes even that is not seen as quick enough for investors. Sometimes companies just lack the internal resource, know-how. Maybe they've got a team of marketing that are super small, or only one in the marketing or less. So they don't necessarily have time to get around to it, and therefore it gets neglected. Or one I see quite often, especially in SaaS, is that companies or agencies or contractors waste way too much time, budget, or resource on technical SEO. And in my opinion, technical SEO is only really needed at high level when I'm talking about detailed technical audits, when you're getting to sites with hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of pages. And we'll get to that now in a second. So why should you consider SEO for your B2B tech or SaaS company or service company? Well, evergreen content. So just like on YouTube, your content, your pages that rank can bring in leads, can attract prospects, not just now, but for months and years to come. So just like when you do a search on YouTube, how to do something, best ways to do something, you're looking for comparisons, whatever you're looking at, whatever it might be on YouTube, you might see videos that are months old or even years old, which is exactly the same with SEO. Your pages can rank in the short term, medium term, and long term, making a steady flow of eyeballs, leads, opportunities for your content. Helps you stop relying on ads, be that Google ads, be that LinkedIn ads or elsewhere. Can also reduce your pay-per-click cost over time, with many people placing more importance in the organic search results. So many folks know what's paid result in Google, and many folks place more importance in the organic results. It can help ramp up a sustainable flow of leads for your sales team, making them happier. Builds a big one in the B2B space is it builds up trust and mind share. So as you probably know, especially if you're selling high ACV, high average contract value items in B2B, Folks don't just suddenly go on your website and decide to buy, especially if it's a high ticket item. There's multiple stakeholders, multiple execs involved in the buying decision and buying journey. So if teams are constantly seeing you top of organic search when they need your offer, when they're comparing you to alternatives, when they're searching for problems you fix or searching for jobs you get done, it's going to build up that mind share and help keep you top of mind as one of the top vendors to choose. So that's it. So let's dive in to the checklist. So first things first, one of the foundational things I recommend when it comes to your SaaS SEO is prioritizing what I call money keywords, i.e., what is a dream client going to search for when they have super high intent to speak to a salesperson around your offer? So, and anyone who wants this sheet, I can share this sheet afterwards. So I'm prioritizing money keywords. This is a bit of an example. What I'm going to go through is how you can do offer and industry keywords, jobs to be done keywords, alternatives keywords, super good in SaaS, best of keywords, versus keywords, and then integration keywords. And in this example, I am talking about proposal space. So I'm using this as an example. So proposal software in the SaaS space. And if we take Proposify as an example, so in this case, I am using, I actually know Kyle, who runs Proposify. He's been on my podcast, Breaking B2B, a while back. So let's pretend we are a proposal software SaaS. This might be how we define our money keywords to attract high intent buyers with our SEO campaign and make sure it's a success in the shortest time possible. So we want to, let's say our offer is proposal software. Maybe the whole point of this exercise is mapping out our main offers, the main niches we want to serve, and these niches have to have the problem we fix. They have to actually understand the impact of the problem we fix. They have to want to fix the problem, and they have to easily have cash to invest in the offer. Like one of the mistakes I made early on in business was try to target everyone and anyone. And some of these folks just simply didn't have, they believed we could help them. They had the problem we fixed, but they just didn't have the cash to invest in our offer. So when you're doing this, make sure you're targeting industries that you've proven and that can easily afford your offer. Otherwise, it's a waste of everyone's time. So in this case, proposal software is the offer. One of the targets industries might be sales teams, but another might be HR, finance might be another one. Let's say recruitment, and all these will help influence our landing pages that we build out. We'll talk about in a sec. That gives us a few for now. And then this is probably the keyword or something similar that it might be: proposal software for sales, or proposal software for HR, or finance proposal software, or recruitment proposal software tools, something like that. That's one option for one potential money keyword, which is what someone in our target industry needing our offer might search for. Right, let's go to type 2 keyword. Slightly less intent, but often neglected when it comes to SaaS SEO. Jobs to be done based keyword. So what are your target prospects, your dream clients? What is the problem they face? And they kind of realize they get to that stumbling point and they need your offer, but they don't actually know that your offer exists. So in the proposal software space, it might be how to write proposals that convert, or why aren't my sales quotes turning into business, or how to get my sales proposals opened, or how to convert more sales proposals. So customer research is super important when it comes to SEO. It's often neglected. So actually speaking to your sales team, your customer success team, folks that are doing prospecting for you, and understanding what are the bleeding neck expensive problems that folks face, and what is that tipping point when they realize they need your offer, and then building out kind of how-to content that matches that job to be done, that struggling moment, can be super impactful. So that's the second type of keyword you can consider. Now, probably one of the most powerful, in my opinion, types of keywords for SaaS are alternatives-based keywords. So I know for a fact in Proposify, so if we look at Proposify as a proposal software tool, one of the main competitors is PandaDoc, but I know another one is 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗏. And if you're a SaaS company, you'll probably know a bunch of your alternatives, but one of the best ways to find it if you don't is just to head to a site like G2. Or it might be Trust Radius or whatever review-based site is relevant for your offer. And then you can just type in your offer or this category that you're in, and then you can see all the competitors that are actually going to make sense that we might want to build alternatives pages for. And I'll talk about how we can build those pages in a second. Let's get back to our sheet. So yes, make a list of all your alternatives, and we can talk about how those pages work. Alternatives pages are super useful for folks that are comparing offers, maybe on the fence, and they want to kind of select 2 to 3, 4 vendors, but they're not quite sure whether to go with one of them. And this can be a super good way to scoop up demos or signups. So we'll talk about that in a sec. Next type of keyword is best of. So in this case, it might be best proposal software or best proposal tools, best proposal platform, or it might be best sales proposal platform. That's another type of keyword that can work super well. Those tend to be listicle type pages. Again, we can dive into those in a sec. And then last one could be integration, and that could be not so relevant, I don't think, for Proposify, but that's more relevant for more technical. Perhaps if you're serving developers as your ideal client profile, and that might be like integrate HubSpot with proposal tool. It's basically talking about use cases. So if there's 2 types of software that need to link together, like integrate HubSpot with Zapier or whatever the kind of integrations you need, it can be quite a good way for folks that don't know your software that actually connects the 2 or makes the 2 sync together. You basically have an article that says, okay, you're facing this problem. Here's one way of doing it. Or there's a much simpler way that's 10 times faster and quicker. And then you introduce your new solution. And it's a great way to drive free signups if you've got a PLG free-based SaaS. But yeah, that gives you a bunch of ideas. What I should have said earlier is, why should you trust me? Why should you trust Sam Dunning or Breaking B2B for this advice? Well, we launched Breaking B2B start of 2024. Within 90 days of launching on a brand new domain with zero authority, we've got to 2.2K organic high intent traffic. Value of that traffic is nearly 19K. We've got keywords like B2B SEO agency. We search here, B2B SEO agency, organic position 1 in the UK, US, EU, a bunch of other countries. Following this process that I'm sharing with you, so we quite literally practice what we preach and help SaaS and B2B companies get organic results in the fastest time possible. So that is some tips around identifying your money keywords, understanding the focus niches, the focus offers that you want to serve, jobs to be done, alternatives, best of, versus, and integration-based keywords. So that's that. And then once you've built those all out, you can run those through a tool like Hrefs, and you can see what keywords make sense. You probably want to actually make as many as you can, because what we'll talk about in a sec is publishing at scale when we talk about how to build those pages and judge the intent. But you can use a tool like Hrefs to judge what's the keyword difficulty of that keyword, how roughly how much competition it's got. And there's a few other points you can use with tools like Hrefs to kind of judge what keywords you should perhaps prioritize. One thing to remember though is keyword tool planners and softwares are running on historical data, so don't use them as your kind of full north compass. So back to the list. Prioritize money keywords. Let's pretend we've made a detailed, comprehensive list. We've exhausted that to our best of our ability. Next up, we want to, before we build out our page, before we start building quality content at scale, we want to assess the intent of a page. So is it a solution page that someone's expecting? Is it an article page? Is it a listicle page? Is it something else? So as an example, let's go back to one of the best ways in SaaS. So let's do the alternative keyword process. Let's go for, if we go back to our proposal tool example, PandaDoc alternatives. Cool. So if we go past the paid results, we can see top is Gartner, a review site. They quite often rank quite well. Then we've got PandaDoc. Actually, the PandaDoc have built a page for their own site. And then we've got 𝗥𝗲𝗋. Let's probably skip the PandaDoc, although that is a tactic. You can build alternatives pages for your own site, which is quite a cool idea. Let's go to Jotform, and then we can see how this page is built out. So straight away, if we search for one of our target keywords, PandaDoc alternatives, and looks like Proposify might be missing a trick on this because they're not actually ranking in the top few results. So let's go, for example, to JotForm. It looks like they're position 3 or so. We can straight away see this is a listicle type page. So when someone types in an alternative keyword, usually they're expecting to see a list of potential opportunities. In this case, PandaDoc alternative, we open up JotForm, 10 best PandaDoc alternatives and competitors for 2024. So straight away, we know if we want to rank for this kind of keyword, then we've got to build a page that, in my opinion, should be a lot more detailed. So when I try and outrank a page, I try and completely blow out the water, whatever's ranking right now. So in this case, they've got top 10. I would go for top 15 or top 20. So if we take a step back, and if we refer to our checklist, so we understand that this has got to be a listicle type page if we're going for the alternatives based keyword to snatch up some demo requests. Now, first thing you want to look at is what's called the meta title and description that shows in the search engine results page. So in this case, 10 best PandaDoc alternatives and competitors. So if you were building a page, let's say for this, you might go for 20 best PandaDoc alternatives of 2024. And then in your meta description, that looks like it's auto populated by Google, but in yours, you might say, find out the top 20 alternatives to PandaDoc to kind of increase your, or to ramp up your sales proposals this year. Something like that might be fine. And then in terms of technical SEO, so we don't go super hard on technical SEO. Like I said at the start of this episode, unless you've got hundreds and hundreds or thousands of pages, doing the basics is fine. So in this case, the URL, we recommend keeping the main keyword within the URL. So JotForm, we've got jotform.com/blog/PandaDoc-alternatives. Yours might be yourdomain.com/PandaDoc-alternatives would be fine for your domain. And then a few other kind of housekeeping rules on H1s. A good tool is called SEO Pro Extension. It helps you easily identify the heading tags of a website. So on SEO Pro Extension, I can see that the H1 is 10 best PandaDoc alternatives and competitors for 2024. So you only want one H1 tag per page. And again, you want your main keyword within that H1. And likewise, within the rest of your heading tags, H2, H3, H4 for the rest of your heading tags. Try and weave in that focus keyword, so PandaDoc alternatives naturally. Likewise, in your body text, try and weave it in naturally. And another one to consider is how much copy the page has. So this has got 2.2K words. Word count isn't the be all and end all for SEO. However, if you're trying to completely blow this page out of the water and doing top 15, top 20, we're probably going to beat on word count anyway. So that's a few housekeeping rules. Get the URL relevant to the keyword. Have one H1 tag with your keyword included, and try and weave in your target keyword in your body text and in your headings as you go. And likewise within your meta title and description. So moving on, usually alternatives pages will vary as they're built out. A few best practices is usually you have a starting box that kind of says that these are the alternatives, or list out. Usually you'll position your own offer, just like JotForm have done here as number 1, and then you have alternatives below. So usually there's a bit of spiel at the start saying, this is what you should consider if you're building out a proposal software. Obviously, this is going to be relevant, whatever your SaaS or your offer is, calendar scheduling, whatever it may be. And then we'll dive straight into it. But where a lot of companies go wrong on these alternatives-based keyword pages or listicles is they slate their competition. They position themselves top, but they don't actually convince folks that they're worth choosing. So it's fine to position yourself top, but you need to give people a reason to choose you. So you can talk about things like the problems you fix. I really encourage you to think about things like your differentiators in the marketplace. So why do folks typically choose you over others? So this is where customer research is super key. Talk to your sales team, talk to your prospecting team, talk to your customer success team, understand those differentiators. Try and weave in a comparison table if you can. Like, this is us, this is our main competitor, this is what we provide, this is what they don't, and this is how we're different. Once you've done that, you can perhaps weave in a demo of the offer itself. Maybe you've got a live demo, or maybe you've got some screenshots of the offer, so people can see what the product looks like. Then you might have some social proof, like this is a recent client review, this is a client review video, build some trust, and then you might have a call to action, like here's grab a free sign up, grab a free trial, try it today, or request a demo, whatever is relevant. And then you have a fair comparison. Do not slate any of your competitors, but the rest of the competitors can then be in the below following. So if we did top 20 for this page, the other 19 could be below. Like I say, try and keep it as fair as possible, keep it pro. And that is basically the formatting for alternatives pages. So that is one way to do it. If we look at another example of common keyword in SaaS, let's go for best. If we keep it on the same theme, best proposal software. This is going to be a lot more competitive. It's a lot more specific. Best proposal software. Again, this is probably listicle based. So we can see PandaDoc looks like they're top, and then we've got Proposify. Proposify are actually linking to the homepage, which is pretty sweet. PandaDoc are linking to a service or offer page. So if we take this offer page, so again, what we want to do for each keyword that you want to rank for once you've assessed your money keywords is look at the existing page, look how it ranks. Again, you can see in their URL, they've got their focus keyword, proposal software. So pandadoc.com or yourdomain.com/proposal-software. They've probably got it in their H1 if we assess through SEO Pro extension. Heading tag, H1, yeah, proposal software. Only one H1, like I say, and then they've weaved it in steadily throughout their other heading tags and as we go. So if we wanted to rank this, although it's super competitive, and we probably need to not just build a best-in-class page, but get some quality backlinks, which you can talk about a bit later, kind of to juice up these pages. So we'd look for gaps that we could improve. So if we were trying to build a solution page that outranked PandaDoc, we'd say, well, at the top, they've got a hero area, they've got a call to action to book a demo or get a 14-day trial. They've got examples of their product. They've got social proof of brands they helped underneath the fold. They're talking about the features of their product in action, talking about the workflow. Then they've got another call to action. They're talking about integrations. Then they've got some reviews from G2, some social proof, and then they've got related content. So what I'd look at straight away is where do they fall short? I'd probably spend more time in this case below the fold, talking about problems they fix. What are the bleeding neck problems that folks often come to them to resolve? Bit more maybe about the workflow. Like, what's it like using PandaDoc? How are we different? How do we differentiate ourselves in the marketplace compared to some of those key competitors? Like, what's our unique value props? What do we do that others don't? And they've got an FAQ section at the bottom of the page. So this is one trick that I used when it came to kind of ranking for different context. But when it came to ranking B2B SEO agency that we did in 90 days, which is actually worth $20 per click in paid search, so super competitive keyword. One of the main things I did for my page when breaking B2B was literally that, assess what was ranking well now and look for how I could blow them out of the water. So in our case, we did a super detailed FAQ section, but it wasn't any FAQs. It was looking at what we get asked on sales calls. So how long does it take to do B2B SEO? Should every company do it? Someone told me SEO was dead. How much does it cost? And we give real numbers. Why should I invest it? Isn't Google Ads quicker? So what you'll find is most of your competitors will be too scared to actually address some of these questions head on. And the thing you should consider is Google announced a framework some time ago, along with helpful content. That was something called EEAT, Experience, Expertise, Authority, Trust. And basically, they want to see that pages are written by someone that has hands-on experience, expertise in the subject. But if you're answering real questions that folks on sales calls are bringing up around how much does it cost? Do I get a dedicated account manager? What's the setup flow like? Do you have a refund policy? All these questions that your competitors are scared to answer. If you can do that on your solution page in your FAQ, you're going to blow them out the water because you're going to provide real helpful content. It's also going to help with sales enablement because sales can then direct people to these pages, and it will speed up sales cycles because most folks will be too scared to address these questions. So it's a complete win. The other trick that I recommend for solution-based pages is to weave in a YouTube video. So just like I did, I believe I've got at the top of my own SEO agency, B2B SEO agency page, what you'll find is for some keywords, if you weave in a YouTube video that's relevant to the topic, i.e. a guide or whatever suits the page, or how to, or a best of, or a breakdown, depending on the page format, is that seems to increase the ranking on Google. Also, you can get an image next to your search result on the organic searches, so it can improve your click-through rate. Plus, if we've got an example here, so if I search B2B SEO guide, in the video section, like for my example on B2B SEO guide, that keyword, I've got 2 videos showing there. I did have a B2B SEO guide ranking. I don't know if it is anymore, but you can snatch a ton of results in the search search engine results page just by having videos, plus improving your click-through rate. So you can almost get 3 or 4 rankings within the SERP, which is a super cool tip. Cool. So another couple things that we missed. So look for gaps to win against competitors, sort your meta title and description, have your focus URL and the keyword, H1 tag with relevant keyword within, only one H1, and then heading tags as they flow, and content. Best in class content. So think about experience, expertise, authority, trust, whoever's crafting the content. Understand the intent of the page, which we talked about then. So alternative keywords like PandaDoc alternative or Proposify alternative are usually listicles. Best X solution, best X software could be a solution page, could be a listicle. One other one we should look at actually before we go further is maybe what we touched on earlier. So industry-based pages like proposal software for sales. That could be for HR, for recruitment, whatever. So basically building out industry-based landing pages. So it looks like Proposify top, but they've got it for the homepage. A lot of these folks are doing it for their homepage. Let's see if we can get a better example. Let's try proposal software for HR. Yeah, cool. So again, Proposify seems to rank well for this. And they have got a dedicated page here for staffing. So it's proposify.com/staffing-recruitment in their URL. And we can see this is a dedicated page for how they're helping recruiting and HR companies with their proposals. So again, you do the flow that I talked about then. Review the page, review the meta title description here. One tip that I like to use when it comes to meta titles and descriptions is to increase your click-through rate is, weave in a YouTube video that can give you an image, but also sometimes using brackets. So for example, with Breaking B2B for our B2B SEO agency keyword, I put B2B SEO agency in the meta title, and then in brackets, hit your 2024 lead and revenue goals. Can just make you stand out in the SERPs and improve your click-through rates. But yeah, going back to the Proposify example. So in their case, what is it? Proposal software for HR. Again, you'd review the page, review the structure, do all those things we talked about there, and look for gaps that you can improve. So it might be they're not talking about the problems you fix in detail. Maybe they're not talking about the process well enough. Maybe that you can weave in some unique stats you've done, maybe some unique research, unique surveys. Maybe you've got a detailed video you can embed. Maybe you've got some cool social proof that they don't have. And they could actually, they're missing a trick. They could have an FAQ section at the bottom here. So like we talked about earlier, like, why should I trust you for my HR software? How long setup? Do I get a dedicated account manager? How much does it cost? Why should I choose you over PandaDoc? What's your refund policy? So there's a lot of stuff they could do to even ramp up this page, even though they're page one. There's a lot of stuff they could do to speed up sales cycles, reduce buyer friction, and encourage more conversions from skeptical folks that land on this page and aren't quite sure whether to book a demo or trial. So there's a bunch of ideas there. So that should give you an idea on, that's all around assessing the intent of a page. What do folks expect for the type of keyword? So you literally look at the search results, see what the typical top 3 pages formatted, and then look for ways to blow them out of the water based on your money keywords that you defined at the start of the exercise. So the other thing to consider is we talked about leveraging customer research. That's just by doing that, you can get ahead of a lot of folks in the SEO game. So if you know what your target clients' problems are, the impact of not fixing them, their dream desired state, common questions, objections, if you can weave those into your pages, you're going to be way ahead of most SEO folks that are just building content to rank. Because when it comes to SEO, especially in SaaS, if your content can rank, but if someone lands on your page and it doesn't resonate, the bounce rate is going to be super high, especially if you're using AI tools. You're just putting jargon like 20x, supercharged, jump up your revenue. Someone's going to be like, this is written by an AI bot, and jump off. Whereas if you've got content written by someone with hands-on expertise, they're thinking, yep, this person knows my world. They know my problems. I can see that they've done work in our area. They're answering my questions. Okay, let's book a trial. Let's book that demo. So something we didn't talk about was internal links. So typically when you're building these pages, you want to make sure it's easy to crawl for Google. So weaving in links to other pages that suit. So if you were talking about, I don't know, proposal software for HR teams, you might then link to a guide. So if you've got like an ultimate proposal guide, you might link to that. If you've got another HR page, you might link with that. It just helps Google crawl it, and can also build up something called topical authority when you're trying to rank for more competitive keywords. Solid page design to hit intent. We talked about intent, making sure you've got a relevant page for what Google expects, weaving in social proof to build trust, and clear call to actions as people scroll to book that demo or sign up. Now, publishing at scale. So if you are a startup, a smaller team, this is your advantage. This is how you can beat giants in your industry. This is quite literally, when it comes to my own website, Breaking B2B, this is how we got ahead of so many giants in the SEO game, just by publishing content at a ridiculous pace and then worrying about optimizing it later. So we literally published, I don't know, 30 or 40 pages in our first month or so around all of the target money niches. So when it comes to B2B web design, B2B SaaS web development, B2B web development, fintech, B2B SaaS SEO, B2B SEO, financial SEO, all those pages, just like you can do for your relevant niche and offers, and for your alternatives, and for your versus pages, for your comparison pages, and more. If you've got the ability to list out your money keywords and then build that content at scale, then that's just going to put you ahead of the competitors, because a lot of giants in the industry, a lot of big enterprise companies have to go through super slow sign-offs. So they'll do their keyword research, they'll plan a page, they'll eventually get that page signed off a few weeks later, they'll pass it to design, a few weeks later, they'll pass it to dev, a few weeks later, then it'll probably take 2 to 3 months to sign off a few pages at once. Whereas if you can publish fast, see how the page ranks, give it a few weeks to get crawled, and then make improvements as you go. Because remember, your website's a living organism. There's always things you can do, improve, scale up, and more. And if you have got questions as you go, drop them in the chat. I will get to those soon or at the end. And let's pretend we've published at scale. So I recommend, if you're taking this approach, to completely exhaust the bottom of the funnel. A lot of these keywords I've talked about are bottom of the funnel keywords. So best proposal software, PandaDoc alternatives, get accept alternatives, or proposal software for HR, proposal software for recruitment, or whatever's relevant for your niche, of course. These are all pretty bottom of the funnel keywords. No one's typing that for fun. They're typing that because they need your offer and they want to have a sales conversation. So on the basis that they see a page that hits their pain points, shows your points of differentiation, builds some trust, addresses their common questions, objections, and makes it easy for them to kind of book a demo or sign up, then chances are that page is going to drive a steady flow of leads or signups. So absolutely exhaust the bottom of the funnel. Get together with your sales team, your marketing team, your success team, and look for all the options under those types of keywords formats we've gone at, and bash those pages out as quick as humanly possible before you start working up the funnel for more query-based searches. And then last all, so you'll be able to rank some of these pages pretty quick. For example, one of my clients, 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗏, we built out, what we did was what we did earlier. So we built out alternatives pages. I think we built 7 or 8, maybe 9 different alternatives pages for their main competitors. We just headed to G2 with the client, found out the main competition. The client shared with us their main differentiators in the marketplace, the main problems they fix, where they pick up that the competitors don't. And these comparison pages, for example, LeadX alternatives and similar, we got a lot of those ranking in the top spots within 30 days. And those have scooped up a bunch of demo requests for 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗏 as a result. So it just shows what's possible in a very short space of time, especially if there's not a lot of competition. But what you'll find for some of these more competitive keywords, especially the more generic keywords like best X tool or best X software or best X platform, those are going to be a lot more competitive, typically, depending on your niche. So that's where you might need to build backlinks to actually juice up these keywords, build authority on Google, and build up your domain reputation. So one of the best ways, I'll share a few ways to build links before we wrap this thing up. One of my favorite ways is partnerships. So as an example, one really good way is to reach out to all your current clients, prospects, network, existing partners, prospects, etc., that serve the same ideal client profile but are not direct competitors. So to give you a real example, at Breaking B2B, one of our partners is a B2B LinkedIn ads agency called 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗏. I know their owner, their founder, Justin Rowe. So he was one of the first guys I reached out to when I wanted to rank B2B SEO agency page and get that paid position 1. So I offered him a super low risk ask. So I approached him and said, hey, Justin, got a bit of an unusual, I'm a fan of painfully short outreach because it stands out. So I said, hey, Justin, I've got an unusual idea to ramp up inbound leads for both of us with SEO against a conversation. So that against a conversation with a question mark opens up the curiosity gap. He said, yeah, sure thing, Sam. What are you thinking? And I said, I offered him a super low lift ask. So I offered to create him a guest article on his site. In this case, I created him an article around kind of top ways to reduce your bounce rate on a website. He published it. I put a backlink to my target page, my target keyword, and that gave us a nice little boost. And I did that with a bunch of different kind of partners within the network, within folks I'm connected to on LinkedIn and similar. So that's a super easy way to build links for kind of some of those focused keywords. Another way, which is often neglected, is podcast guesting. So a great site for this is Chartable, if I can spell it, chartable.com. Chartable, helps if I can spell it. Chartable.com, cool. So great way to get PR, build links, get inbound leads at scale. So I recommend you go to chartable.com, hit the charts. You can go Apple or Spotify. If I just click Apple, let's click Great Britain for now. And if I go to my sector, marketing. So chartable.com, Apple podcast marketing, I can see the top 50, top 100 podcasts within my target niche. Of course, you can choose your own niche, whatever's relevant. But then what you can do is either have one of your exec team, maybe your CEO founder, maybe your head of marketing, whoever's relevant, whoever's happy to go on these kind of shows, reach out to these folks, whoever, you can find out who hosts the show. I recommend personalized requests on LinkedIn. That's what I normally do. And again, a painfully short message. Find out the shows that accept guests. Drop them a note on LinkedIn, like, hey, enjoyed your recent episode. Like, take a quick listen to one of the recent episodes. Pull out a snippet. Hey, enjoy your recent episode on X, especially the part on Y. Would you be against having me on to talk about X, Y, Z? And then a bunch of those folks will accept. Do a few outreaches each day. Get onto some shows. Record a great episode. Give some valuable tips, ideas, insights. You can give a call to action to your website, your newsletter, podcast, whatever at the end. So it gives you some PR. Gives you reach within their audience of your ICP, and you can ask them at the end to give a backlink. So most of these folks will have an article page, an individual article page for each podcast episode they publish. So you can ask for a link back to one of your focus keywords and get a backlink that way. Another way is past media. So if any of your exec team, CEO, founder, whatever, have been featured in blogs, been featured in articles, been featured in media, you could go on a site like Hrefs. You could use the tab, you could go into referring domains, and then you could filter those and see some of these sites that have actually linked to you in the past. And then you could connect to those. And if any of those have got a random backlink, so maybe they just link to your homepage or on a relevant page, or maybe they don't at all. Maybe you've just got a note on an Excel sheet or old emails of past press or similar that you've been featured on. Reach out to whoever's responsible for the article and say, look, you featured us a while ago. Would you be against changing this link to one of our focus pages? Apart from that, other ways to build links, build backlinks are do unique insights or research reports. So whether that's surveys, in-person events, stats, all that kind of stuff. Create something that's so useful, so unique, so valuable that other pages are linking to it. It's link worthy. And then maybe you publish it on LinkedIn, you publish it on socials, builds more traction around it, builds a bit of a flywheel effect. And then other folks are linking to your research report because it is so valuable and unusual. PR-based outreach, again, similar kind of thing. You're doing unique outreach, unique articles, then reaching out to journalists. But that can be a lot more manual. Or you can use a team. I might be biased here, but you could use a team like mine at breakingb2b.com to do all this heavy lifting for you and build out niche relevant links that are genuinely going to juice up your site and build up your authority. We've got a couple minutes left. So if you have got a question, drop it within the chat and I will get to it in a second. But yeah, if we wrap things up, so if we go back to the checklist, so prioritize money keywords, start with high intent, i.e. people that are wanting to speak to sales now. So that could be directly searching for your offer plus industry, a job that you help get done. Okay, could be searching for alternatives to your solution. So use sites like G2 or paid review sites to find out all those. They could be searching for best, like best X software, best X tool, best X platform. They could be versing, which we didn't talk about that much. So they could be comparing you against an alternative like PandaDoc versus Proposify or GetAccept versus PandaDoc. And again, those would be kind of detailed article pages, a bit like we ran through earlier, or it could be some kind of integration. So exhaust that list, exhaust all those pages and publish at scale. Follow best practices when it comes to including the keyword in the URL, in the heading tag, and the H1, only one H1. Best-in-class content. So ideally, you want insights from customer success, from sales, and more. Internal links, so leverage links to other pages that are relevant so you can get it crawled faster. Make sure your page is actually going to convince someone. So no one wants to see a wall of text. Make sure your article page or solution page or comparison page actually looks good on mobile, desktop, PC. So it's easy to navigate. Maybe you've got a fixed lead magnet. Maybe you've got sign-up call to actions. Maybe you've got some nice social proof testimonials, video reviews. Maybe you've got examples of your product, screenshots of your SaaS, or maybe you've got a live video demo of your SaaS, whatever it may be, so people can actually get inside the inside the product and make it easy for people to book a call with sales. Publish content at scale, and then build backlinks to the more competitive keywords that aren't ranking within kind of the first few months, because you can tell that they're more competitive sectors, or they're probably high keyword difficulty showing up on Ahrefs and similar tools. So I hope this session was useful. If you want to grab a free resource, head over to breakingb2b.com, hit the newsletter tab, and you can unlock my ultimate guide to B2B SEO instantly. Or check out the podcast. We've got, how many episodes we've got? 386 past episodes around all this kind of stuff: B2B SEO, SaaS SEO, SaaS web design, and also interviews with a bunch of marketing leaders sharing their tips. Or lastly, if you maybe are frustrated that organic search isn't driving a steady flow of demos or leads, then you can book a call at breakingb2b.com, and I'll be happy to chat to you and see if we can or can't help you. Feel free to grab those resources over at breakingb2b.com, and I shall catch you on the next one.